Hello and welcome to the Monday edition of the Third and Long podcast. As you can tell, I am not the Welsh wizard Shane. I am Baby, who is taking his place for the introduction this week. To my right, I have the old man himself, Oliver Henderson, and below me, the teacher extraordinaire, Mr. Phil Perrins. How are you, boys?
All good, mate. All good. I mean, less than the old. You're not that much hair less than me now, as you were alluding to early on in the show. Early on. And Mr. Perrin, do you know what you said literally as Baby Hope hit play?
Yeah.
I've now got to edit that out of this.
Was that in?
Oh,
that will
yeah.
go in, yeah. There's like a second where you've got to edit it.
Bear in mind, like about half hour ago when we were talking about lewd stuff, and I was like, "Oh, guys, we're PG now."
So, Ollie, do you want to answer the question Phil was asking without the swear words? Where is Shane tonight?
Mr. Harris is at our wonderful friends, the Defects. So, if you're wondering who Defects is, they're the band who did our intro song. Well, we asked very kindly if we could use their song for the intro, and so Dream, I can't remember it, but yeah, the band's called Defect, and he's at them tonight, and it's a hell of a band, to be fair. He's repping the third long. So if you do see him, give him a punch.
Yeah, for missing the show.
Although, to be fair, going to see Defects isn't a bad excuse.
As they are friends of the show, we'll allow it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dream Awake, that's what the song's called. I knew it was Dream something, I couldn't think what it is. Thank you, Shane. He's commenting on it as we go along. He's at the gig commenting on our YouTube viewing at the moment. So we have one viewer, which is Shane. How are we both, gentlemen? Are we all well? Mr. Baby Hope, I saw you about 48 hours ago.
Yeah, Saturday.
Yeah. All good, that one, man.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably until about 46 and a half hours ago. I think it was till about 10, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's gone 10 by the time I dropped you back at your house.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how are you, Mr. Pete?
Oh, thank you, gents. I'm good. I've been a little bit under the weather over the weekend, and it took me a while to actually send Hendo my 32 power rankings. And I'm really, really sorry about that. And then I had teacher training today where I had to travel an hour and 20 up north to go sit in a room with other media teachers where we talk about media-y things, which I actually really, really loved. Because it's not often I get to do that. And and I've just come back and I've just like absolutely crashed. I played football yesterday for one of my two teams, and I hurt my back and I'm in an obscene amount of pain. So like I'm literally walking around like I am like Hendo, like an old man, like slightly bent.
Whoa. You're not that much younger than me.
But I'm I'm 34.
Oh, you're a little bit younger than I thought you were.
How old do you think I was?
I thought you were like 38. 36.
No, that's Shane. Shane's the old man.
39.
Yeah, then again, Phil, you thought I was younger than I was.
Yeah, because I always think of the better of people. Like when you say like, oh, your partner, the current Miss Hope, I was like, when you said she was 23, I was like, oh, well, that makes sense because Baby's like 24, and you're like, oh no, I'm 26. I was like, what? What is this? Why are we all getting old?
I just thought you just dyed your hair.
Oh no, I do.
That's why I thought you were older than you were. Okay.
I do.
Shane just said there's 10 years difference.
What, between me and Shane? Or between me and Hendo? Yeah.
Hey, whoa. Don't you start adding years under me, Harris.
Yeah, Ollie's only 41.
I like that.
42.
A little bit older than that. 42. Yeah.
That's right. That's Ronnie Lott's number, 42.
It's easy. There's 8 years difference between you and parents, and there's 8 years difference between parents and me.
There we go. We're all just meant to be.
It's like 8 years
And
between me and my
also-
sister, and then there's 8 years between my sister and my brother.
8 was Steve Young's number.
The great Steve Young. We need to add in that prefix. The
The
great Steve Young.
Hall of Famer Steve Young.
The Hall of Fame, 3-time Super Bowl champion, 1-time Super Bowl MVP, the great Steve Young.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not meant to be a 49er show. You know, they're not even playing this week. And
Honestly, I'm not even wearing a 49er shirt.
Yes, but I mean, the biggest news of the week is the fact that we have opened McCaffrey's practice window, isn't it?
I know,
No.
and I've been watching our social media during like the day when I've had a bit of break, and I was just like seeing like him and Juice like running up and down the field going, oh my god, and then Jawan's back as well. He practiced today, but anyway, if you're right, it's not a 49ers session. We'll talk about the 49ers come Thursday. Shall we talk about an actual great weekend of NFL football that's led to some interesting news concerning two teams today?
Yeah, shall we start with the catch on Thursday Night Football?
I'd rather talk about the drop on Thursday Night Football.
Go on then.
Yeah, no. Wait. The catch happened in 1981 in the NFC Championship game.
All right, Garrett Wilson's catch.
Like, if you want, I'll go put my Dwight Clark jersey on, and we can talk about the actual catch.
No, the actual catch is the helmet one, and yeah, all the ones that in the Super Bowl.
That's the helmet catch. The catch, Dwight Clark, Joe Montana, Dwight Clark, 1981 NFC Championship versus Dallas.
So, Garrett Wilson's catch in MetLife was in the same end zone as Odell Beckham's. Although
It was the other side. It was the other side of the
other side, but it's the same end zone. A, how the hell did he get it down? And B,
how did he get his feet down?
And B, have you heard what Aaron Rodgers has said?
Was it? I heard what Devontae Adams has said about that.
Aaron Rodgers has probably gone, oh, I'll just put G's down there somewhere. It was along them lines. G's down there, I'll just throw it to him, it'll be fine.
Devontae Adams said, oh yeah, I said to him he might be dropped by Adidas because Air Jordan will be after him.
The worrying thing is about Tennessee. I mean, we've got our power rankings, so they're going to be dropping as of like tomorrow.
I think you mean Houston.
Yeah.
Not
Texans.
Tennessee.
Yeah, they're no longer in that. Yeah, okay. Houston okay. Teams have swapped. All right, the Houston Oilers are no longer there. The Houston Texans. You've got to look after Garrett Wilson. So not Garrett Wilson, bloody CJ Stroud. He's been sacked 30 times this season.
I can't remember his name, but Quinnen Williams beating their left guard felt like every play.
Every play. But CJ Stroud last year only got sacked 36 times.
Yeah, but that's probably because they had a better left guard.
Possibly, yeah. But we saw it's happened to Joe Burrows. He's been beaten up week in, week out. We saw it to Mac last couple of years there, getting beaten up week in, week out. Andrew Luck got beaten up weekly. You know, it's if you don't.
He got beaten out the league.
Yeah, if you don't look after your quarterbacks,
he got beaten into retirement.
Yeah, you're going to end their careers very early, and I think it's wrong. You know, your main emphasis on your team is that guy who throws the ball 99% of the time. Occasionally you get a trick play where someone else wants to throw it. Why aren't they putting more emphasis on his O-line? I mean, we'll talk about the Raiders in a bit because they've had a massive change, people, when we get around to them in a minute. Surely it's time for teams to look after the O-line. Mr. Perrins.
You do find, like, in the pantheon of, like, the NFL where historical bad teams or historically underachieving teams do have a habit of doing that, where they will invest heavily on every weapon on offense that's not the line, and then they wonder why, you know, every couple of cycles they need a new quarterback again. Where, you know, the Colts did it with Andrew Luck, where, I mean, let's not forget Peyton Manning. Nearly had his career ended. He had to have neck surgery where they had to detach his neck and then reattach it. And then they got Andrew Luck, and then Andrew Luck got beaten out of the league. And we see this, historically throughout bad teams, and then we put the onus on, the offensive coordinator or the quarterback itself. The Patriots never really had an issue with protecting Tom Brady. The Chiefs don't really have an issue with protecting Mahomes. The Ravens don't really have an issue with protecting Lamar. The Bills with Josh Allen. Like, the list goes on and on. Even the 49ers to a degree. I mean, if you look at the stats across our O-line, it's very good in terms of protecting Brock. And that's why teams like this, Philadelphia as well, just throwing that out there as well. They have a great O-line, or had a great O-line. And there's a reason why these teams are always in the playoffs, always in the championship games, while teams like the Texans will have those little flourishes like they did last year, and then it'll all go pear-shaped, and you wonder why. And that's just, I don't know, the culture in bad teams or underachieving teams, if that makes sense, gents.
No, completely. I mean, look at Joe Burrows. They could have taken...
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was at 5-0, but they took Jamar Chase because
I genuinely believe if they had a better O-line, they would have won the Super Bowl. Yeah. They would have won it.
Was it Penny Sewell?
Yes, that was it. And he's now probably the best right tackle, if not the best tackle in the league. Baby.
I was just a quick one, as Shane would say. The thing is, the Texans don't really have an excuse because they have cap space, and they have CJ Stroud on a rookie deal, so they can't be like, oh, we're paying the quarterback money, so we can't afford for the O-line because CJ Stroud is on a rookie deal. I know he was second pick, so it's still pretty high.
But doesn't that just fall back onto ownership trying to be cheap?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Is it because that's exactly what the Steelers and Green Bay were accused of for years, and that's exactly what we accused Jed York of for years as well. So just because the cap space is there doesn't mean the owners have to spend it.
No, completely. And we look at the Patriots at the moment. The Patriots cap space is 130 million.
Yeah,
that's because Robert Kraft is too busy doing shots with his fans.
Yes, Bobby Kraft. Love that one. That was so funny. Right, let's roll on to this week's prediction games review. So obviously we start with Mr. Harris.
Are we not going to talk about the Patriots? No,
we lost.
No, we don't want to talk about Drake. We don't want to talk about Drake May's interception in overtime.
He's actually come out and said, "Look, I've just got to learn to throw it away sometimes."
And do you know, when we, are we going to talk about it, or should we just talk about it now?
Yeah, go on then. We'll talk about it.
All right. So I think, and this is me being unbiased because I'm trying to be an unbiased Patriot because you've got such a great young team, and I really, really, for the first time this season, I actually felt like, Drake May is literally potentially going to be him for the Patriots. I see your hype, Hendo, but then with the hype obviously comes with his youth and inexperience. If the game would have ended with him throwing that insane touchdown and the Patriots would have won that game instead of taking it as a tie, I think it would be literally talked about all week on Sports Center and ESPN and everything. But because he tied it and then he threw the game losing interception, I think that overlooks how well he actually played in the game.
Oh, yeah,
I think Drake May actually had probably the best game that he's played so far.
Yeah, agreed.
100%. He got picked off twice. One of them wasn't his fault. It was in and out the receiver's hands. Surprise, surprise, in and out the receiver's hands. But play.
The interception in overtime was a bad play.
Yeah. It's into double coverage. Okay, Kayshon Boutte is probably our most consistent wide receiver outside Hunter Henry at the moment. Yes, I know Henry's a tight end. But it was into double coverage. And if anything, it was underthrown a little bit.
Yeah.
So it made it really easy for the receiver. It was a contested ball. It was an underthrown ball. But yeah, that touchdown run that lasted for 11.58 seconds.
I know.
It's the second longest in NFL history, only behind Jaden Daniels' Hail Mary. So two rookies have got the two longest plays in NFL history, which is ridiculous. But hey, I want to talk. There was one player who just went, "Oh, I'll jump out of the way. Oh, there's a couple of Titans players running to him. I'm going to let him deal with it on his own." What the hell were you doing? I think it was Sydney So, but it was a great bit of play, and it shows what he can do, making these plays out of nothing. I mean, you're more of a college expert than I am, Baby Hope. He used to do that quite a bit in North Carolina, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He was. I wouldn't say he's a rusher like maybe Jaden Daniels or Lamar Jackson. I'd say he's more of an improviser who can extend the play and then look to throw.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a time because he is built like Josh Allen. He's probably a little bit smaller, probably about 20 pounds lighter than Josh Allen. But you could see in them putting in these design type Josh Allen runs into the playbook because he's got the wheels to do it. And he's a strong lad. He's a bit tricky to bring down. He ran through one of the lads on one of the Tennessee linebackers on Sunday, almost Saturday then. So yeah, it's rather good. It was rather good. Right, now shall we go to the prediction game?
Yeah, go on, sorry.
Okay. Right, let's roll on to Shane's Baltimore. Yeah, I was the only one who went Denver. Yeah. Lamar Jackson threw a perfect passer rating of 159.3. Gentlemen.
I am not on the Bo Nix train. I think I've said it earlier on in the season. I don't understand why the Broncos fans are so high on him. I don't like Sean Payton. That's been a well-established thing across my 3 years on this pod. And watching the game, I mean, it was exactly what I thought it would be. A very well-oiled, determined Ravens team who have turned a negative start into a positive continuation, and they just steamrolled the Broncos. Like, at no point did the Broncos look dangerous, and I didn't think Bo Nix is there. Whether or not it's this season or going forward, and Lamar was amazing because Lamar is amazing.
I think Bo Nix is a good quarterback, but I think if you look at kind of tiers of teams, Ravens are in that Super Bowl ambitions team, whereas the Broncos is more into the let's try and sneak into the playoffs team.
Yeah, but I understand that, but like the Broncos are hiring. Like the Broncos are hiring Sean Payton, having that huge shift to wanting bring Russell Wilson and then get rid of Russell Wilson. They're owned by one of the richest conglomerates in the NFL. I don't think that's. I think what they want to be is that they want to be in that upper echelon, and they hold themselves like they are in the upper echelon, and they've recruited like they're in the upper echelon. I just don't think they're a good organization.
They still believe they are they're that Peyton Manning era.
Some of them still think about the John Elway the John Elway era from the 90s. So
yeah, completely.
I just think the golfing class showed, and the Ravens were the better team on paper, the better team on the field, and it was just a kind of clinical, professional performance from them. Got the job done. And got the job done easily.
Devastating job done. Absolute devastating job done. I mean, Broncos only scored points in the second quarter. But we've got to take our hat off now to Derrick Henry with 100th and 101st rushing touchdowns.
Yeah. I mean, me and you, Ollie, were, and I can't remember what the film was, but I know me and you were quite critical of the Derrick Henry signing.
Yep.
And we were very wrong.
Oh God, yeah.
I mean, because of like Lamar's strong skill set on the ground, bringing in Derrick Henry, I think was John Harbaugh's kind of like sharing the load, because unlike when he was in Tennessee, where he was get the ball to Derrick Henry and that was it.
Yep.
They don't need to do that in Baltimore because it's Lamar or Derrick on the ground, and that. They both share the workload instead of it being one or the other, like they've been in their respective organizations previously. So I knew if they could keep Derrick healthy, he's going to be a really, really strong power back, and he has been a strong power back. And I think he's for a good shot of being offensive player of the year.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple other another running back that likes jumping over players backwards would be in the argument for that one. Yeah. So I think Shane was a little bit skeptical about it. I think he loves the fact he signed him, and I think he's fast becoming his favorite player in the Ravens team. But he did. I think he did. I do remember him saying there should have been a couple of other issues addressed. Shane, if you're watching, do quote me if I'm wrong. But yeah, I mean, it took them 3 games to get going, and oh my god, have they got going since? They are literally teams
just quickly, Ollie. Clover has says Mr. Perrins, and then good evening to all. So good evening, Clover.
Hey, Clover.
But this defense, young, they lost a lot of key players, is looking good now. Is it good enough to stop KC?
I think there are a couple of teams that can.
Yeah, I think there's definitely 2, maybe 3 teams that if KC come up against have that potential in the AFC. In the NFC, I can't look past Detroit. I think Detroit have an electrifying defense.
The question is, are Tampa going to be good enough tonight?
Talk about that in a bit. Let's segue really onto Detroit, because that was the second prediction game tonight. Oh my god. Right. I understand the penalty on Brian Branch. I really do, because it was a bit of a stupid hit. But I've seen hits worse than that, including the one of Chris Olave, who weren't ejected, and he was ejected. And what do you make of that one, gents?
It was an unneeded hit.
Yep.
An unnecessary hit. So I think the unnecessary roughness penalty was correct.
100%.
But like you, and we'll move on to another ejection when we get to the Rams Seahawks, I don't think it was necessary for there to be an ejection.
No, they were saying something that it was almost like he said something to the officials that they caused it. But then they also said New York called it as well. So I'm really confused of what they called it on. I've not seen anything on the social to say why he was ejected in the end.
If he did say something to the ref or touch the ref or something like that, then yeah, I back it up. He should have been.
He definitely didn't touch the ref. I mean, I watched the first half with Red Zone on the laptop down, and he definitely didn't touch the ref officials. He was very respectful. Like, he was, going up to him, go, why? And then it was like, number 32 is ejected. I love it when they give it a thumbs up. Yeah, he's disqualified.
When I was actually driving back from Hickory's when this play happened live, so I've only seen replays.
Yeah, I've only seen replays as well. Like, I missed that one during the game.
I mean, I've seen it in full speed, and you could hear the crunch. But who was it? Bo Melton got up like, I'm fine. Got up, walked off. Didn't get another. Well, he got another snap off, another target afterwards. But yeah, I mean, you could see it meant a lot to him. He was upset. You could see the way his body language off as he walked off. He was upset, and especially he was told going into this week with Hutch out that he was one of the players that needed to step up. He is a leader on that team, and it's only his second year, remember?
Yeah.
But the game itself. So Detroit were called, you're only a dome team, you can't play outdoors. In true Lambeau November conditions, high winds and the rain, Jared Goff went 18th and 22. Yes, only 145 yards. It was 43-mile-an-hour gusts of wind in the third and fourth quarter. It wasn't a pretty game in the third and fourth quarter at all. But yeah, he is in that conversation for MVP for me, Jared Goff. He was superb again.
Yeah, I can't see past that. I mean, it's currently a very happy household at the moment with my Gemma being, my wife Gemma being a Lions fan. She's a very, very happy armchair fan. Gerald Goff playing the best ball of his career. I'd say that he's playing better now than he was when the Rams went to the Super Bowl when he was there. there's just something. And we've said this before, and we love talking about Dan Campbell on the show. We're big proprietors of him. But ever since that trade where he's gone to Detroit, and I remember watching, I think it was like this. I think was it when I can't remember what it was, but when they were following the Lions, and they were
Hard
literally was it on that?
Yeah, it was Hard Knocks.
Yeah, it was on Hard Knocks, where they had him outside of like the training facility, and all like these little kids were running up to him with like Goff jerseys on. Like, he's not long signed, this is the first off season, and you could just see that he realized what it meant to like the fan base, and I think he's just taken that on him. And when like a quarterback takes that on him and represents, the fan base and the city, that's just like a special kind of aura that we don't always get with quarterbacks. Where when we're thinking of like recent examples, Drew Brees, when he went to like the Saints, and he almost like took upon him like to be like that Mr. New Orleans, because he signed not long after like the Hurricane Katrina, and then he realized that what he could bring to that city, what it would mean to that city if he signed for them. It sounds really, really daft if you're not into sports, but that's essentially what it was. And then he helped lead that team, and we've seen there's probably other examples of it. Ray Lewis being Mr. Raven, and he was Mr. Raven for nearly 20 years. And he led that team in his final season to the Super Bowl. And I think that's a really, really good example of like Jared Goff becoming the Detroit Lion.
The example I wanted to give was this year in the draft, when he was on the stage before and all the fans were chanting his name.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah.
At that point, I was like, Jared Goff is now like the face of Detroit Lions.
Yeah,
he 100%. Will not be leaving that franchise. He will not leave on his free will. He will go, right, I will take a team-friendly deal now to stay here for another 3 years after his contract and call it days there. He will want to finish that. As long I can see it, as long as Dan Campbell is there, Goff will stay there.
Yeah. And you could see him going down like the same route of where he'd be as loved as like Megatron and Barry Sanders. Like, he could go down as one of the greats in that organization, and that organization is one of the oldest in the NFL.
62 years.
Yeah,
something like that, isn't it? Something like that, isn't it? Yeah, most definitely. Right. You alluded to it earlier on. Let's go over to Seattle and LA Rams and Puka Nacua, baby.
So this was an interesting game because I feel like both teams won it and lost it many times.
Yeah.
So
they didn't want to win it, did they?
If Tariq Woolen had just taken a step forward and not let that wide receiver get in front of him, game would be over. Demarcus Robinson, the game would have been over. That pick would have game over. Instead, Demarcus Robinson took the ball, beat Woolen, and I think he took it to the house.
Yeah, he scored 2 touchdowns. Demarcus Robinson. Yeah, he was.
That play, which should have been a pick, I think it would have iced the game. Correct?
Possibly, yeah, because there were 7. Yeah, because they were. No, they were. No, it was. No, it was midway through the third quarter. I know the one you mean.
But it would have put them in a very good position.
Yeah, because they were 13-3 up at the half time.
Because it could have even been a pick 6. We don't know. Instead, it turned into a touchdown for the Rams and changed the momentum of the game. Now, on to the Puka Nacua ejection. Ollie, I'm actually interested to know your opinion on this.
Go on then.
Your opinion.
Oh, my opinion. I've seen a toddler throw a bigger punch. You can't go punching people. It's the sport. You can't. Not just on a football field, in life in general. Unless you're in a ring with a referee organized it, you cannot go punching people. It's a ridiculous thing. But we've said this before. Don't retaliate. It's always the second guy that gets caught. Always. Yeah. And he got wound up and he retaliated. And it's a stupid thing to do. I think it's worth an ejection? Letter law, yes. Probably not. No.
I feel like sometimes
lazy cat swatting a fly on a Sunday afternoon.
sometimes common sense has to prevail. I just don't think that it was an ejection.
No.
Yeah, but the thing is with the common sense versus the letter of the law, the referees will get penalised for it. So like we can sit as fans and go, yeah, you're right. It wasn't really anything in it, but the referees still have to hold that authority, and regardless of whether or not it was like a toddler throwing it or Mike Tyson getting ready to face Jake Paul kind of like punch, they still need to follow through with that, otherwise it becomes like a bit of a Wild West on the field. But it's also just showing like Nakua's I mean, he's second year.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's got a full season under his belt, but he's still only a year and a half into his professional career. And we see Trent Williams, who is well into double figures of his career, still get ejected for doing stupid things. So we can excuse it. I mean, I think he's a retaliation. I don't think he's a nasty player, and I don't think he's an arse. I just think that was just retaliation, rookie mistake. I mean, we see footballers doing it. We see it in all forms of sport, and it just happens to be that the Rams kind of like had him, ejected from it.
But here's my question: New York can get involved if somebody punched somebody. Okay, they can get involved and they can say to the refs that there was a punch here. You need to give an ejection.
Yep.
However, a key moment last week, Rams versus Vikings, the refs miss a blatant face mask. New York can't get involved. That doesn't make sense to me.
No. I mean, I said that. I think I said that on last week's show or Thursday's show. It's ridiculous. It's this lack of consistency. It's the same in all sports. It's been a hot topic at the NFL, the Formula One this weekend because it was happening over Brazil. You hear it week in, week out during the Premiership and VAR and all that, and we hear it all the time. Sports, the officiating in all sports is probably the most inconsistent thing going because it's all subject.
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, was that a late tackle? Oh, was that this? Was that? Did he do this? Did he do that? I wouldn't have given that as a yellow card though. But yeah, it's subject all the time. Geno Smith, ever since he's had that contract, he has been dog.
No, Geno Smith just is dog and had a purple patch for a season.
Okay. Take that put Niners shirt off and put a normal shirt.
Okay. Look at how he played for the Jets when he got drafted.
I mean,
he played for the Jets. That's not really fair. Like, Aaron Rodgers is going to go into the Hall of Fame one day. He's playing for the Jets. He's not exactly playing well, but he's playing for the Jets. I don't think that's a fair assumption. And it's been a recurring theme for the last couple of years in the NFL. Quarterbacks get paid, their output goes down.
Yep.
Because the pressure's not there. If you literally have a society of, I want to work until I get guaranteed, benefits. Oh, no, I'm not going to try now. And we see that. And we've seen it with Trevor Lawrence. We've seen it with Geno. We're seeing it with Dan Jones. Dan Jones had the smallest of purple patches, and he is getting paid $180 million for the duration of his contract, guaranteed. So I think Geno Smith is a very capable quarterback. He's in that mid-level tier. Like, we talked tiers earlier. Obviously, at your top, you've got Mahomes, and then you've got Allen and Lamar, and then you've got Burrow and Purdy, et cetera, et cetera. He is very much in that middle bracket of he will get you a even 500 season, or above 500 season, I should say, because it's not, it's not evens anymore. But he's not going to win you a championship, but you're not going to end up getting the first pick in the draft.
What do you say about QBs, Ollie?
I say There are some QBs that you think that can win you the game, and there's some QBs that you hope don't lose you the game.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Game. It's almost game changers and game management.
Yeah.
But for me, Geno Smith is not a good quarterback.
No, I think there's a certain rookie who got picked at number 2 is a mile better than him.
Ollie, I'm sorry, baby. Minshew or Gino? You have to pick one.
Gino.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I've been
your
very
Raiders moment in a minute.
Bryce Young or Gino?
Gino easily.
I don't know.
Anthony Richardson or Gino?
Richardson.
Gino.
What? Anthony Richardson can't even last a game before getting out of breath.
Richardson is a diamond in the rough.
What?
He's
If you're diamond, would you pick them up from Claire's accessories?
He's
It's not a diamond in the rough.
He's like Aladdin. He's a giant in the rough.
What, you're going to rob him and hope something comes out? Well, sorry, baby. We're a PG show now.
Lamar, no. Anthony Richardson reminds me of Robinson, the Raider.
Okay, so I said this last week. No, I think you think of Jamarcus Russell, aren't you?
Yeah, you think of Jamarcus Russell.
Richardson is an athlete.
Yeah.
Give him a season, sit behind somebody like Flacco, who will nurture him and will mentor him. I think we will see a different Anthony Richardson next season.
Shall we go on to that game while we're talking about like Indianapolis?
Okay.
Because Geno Smith, Joe Flacco looked dog.
Yeah.
Geno Flacco, bloody hell, Ollie, put your teeth back in. Joe Flacco looked like he suddenly aged, and his rating was worse than Justin Jefferson's.
It's amazing. It's amazing what the fountain of youth does to you once you've stopped drinking from it.
Yeah.
He looked very much like a 40-year-old.
The thing is, both of these quarterbacks did not have good games. Darnold did not have a good game. I mean, the best pass in the whole game was thrown by Justin Jefferson.
The 22-yard dot. I can't remember who it was to. Was it Oliver? Was it Oliver? Went to?
I can't remember who it was, but that was the best pass of the game.
Oh, Aaron Jones went to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first win in 3 for Minnesota, so they're going back to 6-2. Puts them back on the coattails of the Lions now. They needed it more than that. Indianapolis Colts go to 4-5. There is something about this Colts team that just isn't sitting right on them because they don't have a bad wide receiver room. They've got a good running back. Their O-line isn't bad either. Yet it's completely and utterly misfiring. Is it new O-line? Is it new head coach issues? But it's not new head coach. Second year, isn't he?
It's lack of quality.
Do you really think? Because I think there's some bloody good players in there.
Okay.
Michael Pittman, Jonathan Taylor.
Pittman's a good player. Taylor's a good player. I don't.
Zaire Franklin, Julian Blackman.
Yeah, these aren't.
There's some bloody good players on that defense.
These aren't top tier players though.
Hey, whoa! You're saying Zaire Franklin, DeForest Buckner on top tier?
Buckner's old.
Buckner's still one of the best defensive tackles in the league.
Buckner
Zaire Franklin is a top tier linebacker.
Yeah,
I would take Zaire Franklin in a heartbeat in New England.
You take anyone in New England because you have the same problem on your defense.
Well, yeah, that's true as well. What about Quissy Pay?
Yeah, he was a high draft pick and he's not really got that much production.
Welcome to the Baby Hope Destroys Indianapolis Colts show.
And then I'm sorry, but they had. If you look at I'm going to use the 49ers as an example because I'm a 49ers fan. Okay, if you look on the offense.
When was this established in the pantheon of our show?
Quality players.
22 minutes ago.
McCaffrey, Debo, Ayuk, Kittle,
Juwan,
Juwan.
Yeah, the problem
Trent.
is though. Well, stop this. You're an anomaly. Your team is an anomaly. There is very, 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 very few teams ever in the NFL who've had the amount of quality that this current 49ers team has. Am I right?
I picked the 49ers
Am I right?
because they're 4-4 and that Colts are 4-5.
People who can't see, Mr. Perez is pointing to me, nodding his head.
I agree. We are an anomaly, and the only reason why we are an anomaly is because we've been able to afford these players because we have a rookie quarterback
who earns 800 grand a year.
The Colts also have a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, but Anthony Richardson,
but not as much as. Sorry, he's still on more than Brock.
It's $5 million. It's 5 to 6 million a year for fourth pick overall.
Yeah, but 5-6 million.
It still was like 22 million, something like that, for 4 years.
5-6 million is very different to the
800 grand.
60 million that Dak Prescott's on, and in my opinion, the Cowboys offense has more quality than the Colts offense.
In my opinion, yeah, I would put Jonathan Taylor in that Cowboys team, and you'll have a different attack there.
Yeah. So my point is, if they have the money somewhere, but I just don't know where it's being spent, to be honest, because their O-line isn't great.
Michael Pittman got a massive deal in the offseason. He was like 120 million.
Pittman is a great player. Jonathan Taylor is a great player. On the defense, Zaire Franklin is a great player. But around them, I don't think there is enough. Even if it's like a Jennings. Like Jennings is a great role player. He's turned out as a star because Ayuk went MIA. But he was signed for 5 to 6 million as a role player.
Okay.
And I just don't think they have enough players like that to build around Pittman and around Taylor.
Yep. We have promised this week, Mr. Perrins, it is Raider week. And I know he's so excited about this. And then Raiders played.
Oh God. I mean, it still is Raider week to be honest, because I mean, probably the biggest talking point out of today has come from the Raiders organization. I actually said in my predictions that I actually thought they were going to get absolutely rammed, and they did. I don't think Antonio Pierce is long for the organization now. His offensive coordinator sacked, and then 2 other offensive coaches have also been sacked by Mark Davis today as well. I'm wondering who's going to be calling the plays this weekend for Vegas.
He's stepping off the playing field, and he's going to be sitting calling the plays.
Gardner Minshew was the second-rated worst quarterback in the league last weekend. I wonder if he's actually rock bottom now. I know that they've lost thingy.
Adams.
No, not Adams. The tight end.
Brock Bowers.
Bowers had a horrible hit yesterday. I saw the highlight earlier on Twitter. I'll have to send you guys. He was literally on the ball. It kind of reminded me of the scene in The Lion King where Mufasa just couldn't get up, and I was just looking at him, just going, "Oh my God, he looked like an NPC in Grand Theft Auto when you shoot them. Like he's just kind of contorted on the floor." Yeah. The Raiders are in all kinds of trouble, and I think they're officially entering the Tank Bowl, because I think that's the only thing that they're capable of winning this year. Because I think they desperately need a quarterback. I'm sorry, I'm high. I mean, taking out the account, I think Gardner Minshew as a person is amazing. I think he's charismatic as hell, and I think he's a very serviceable backup in the grand scheme of things. And this is me being honest and not being like, full-fledged Minshew maniac. But Aiden O'Connell is not the answer either. They had Desmond Ridder, and he wasn't particularly great either. So they're really, really. I put them. Have I put them rock bottom in my predictions? I think I did. So in my power rankings, I think I've actually put the Raiders as 32.
You did. No, you didn't.
Yeah. Did I? Yeah.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was me. Like, and I really want the Raiders to do well. But then I guess I'm just living off of history, like the good old days when the Raiders were just arseholes. They were really, really bad, and that's not take away Joe Burrow and the Bengals. He had a fantastic game as well. I threw four touchdowns?
5.
Yeah, 5.
Five touchdowns. His passer rating was almost perfect. But then again,
he did throw a pick as well.
Yeah, but it was almost perfect, and they're slowly. I don't know if they've turned their season around, but then again, they were playing the Raiders, who I've established are the worst team in the NFL. So I don't know whether or not it shows how good the Bengals are or how bad the Raiders are also.
Baby hope.
So I'm just sat here watching the teams roll along the bottom. I'm thinking, who needs a quarterback next year? Jets, Titans, Browns,
Definitely.
Saints.
Possibly Saints, Panthers, Raiders, possibly Giants. You get the picture. There's quite a lot of.
Ooh, I didn't know the Cowboys won yesterday.
Yeah, they did. No, the Falcons won. That's wrong.
No, that's me. That's me dyslexic. Okay.
So
thank you.
My point is, there's a lot of quarterback needy teams. And if I look at the current college football landscape,
there's not a lot.
There's Quinn Ewers from Texas. There's Will Howard from Ohio State.
Cam Ward?
Potentially Cam Ward. But there's not.
Name, dude.
Yeah, but I'm talking about first round talents.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before you meant the one time as well, yeah.
And I think the probably only guaranteed first round talent is Quinn Ewers. If anybody wants to talk to me about Sanders, I think he's living off his dad's name.
The only the only guaranteed first round pick out of that team is Hunter.
Yeah. But in terms of QBs, I think Quinn Ewers is the only first round pick. So this is something I don't know. I don't know how many quarterbacks are hitting free agency, but I don't think there's a huge amount. So
Mac could be one of them. I reckon I'm still going to take Mac.
Yeah, but they need to start. We're talking about starting quarterbacks here.
Yeah, but there's going to be these players going, right, he'll do for a season, maybe 2.
Yeah.
Let's go. Like, for example, Carolina. If they don't stick with Bryce Young, Bryce Young looked really good yesterday. Okay, yes, it is against a very, very, very poor New Orleans Saints, but he looked good yesterday. And if you roll with him, give him that confidence, give him something, he'll be okay. Cleveland need a quarterback desperately. I think that is there. I mean, Las Vegas is another one that desperately needs a quarterback. I think Saints are going to be looking at one as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd just like to give a shout out to Derek Carr, who is the first quarterback in the NFL history to lose to 31 franchises.
Yeah, and he could lose to 32 if he loses to the Raiders on the 29th of December.
Week 17, he can complete the set against the Raiders.
That's a Hall of Fame career right there.
Oh, God, yeah. I reckon Tennessee could need a quarterback.
Yeah, I don't rate Levis. And Rudolph is he needs to go back to his career as a reindeer, I think.
Brilliant. Love that one. Right, let's roll through the other scores. I've now corrected it to say Atlanta Falcons beat the Dallas Cowboys 27-21. The Cowboys have now lost possibly CeeDee Lamb for the next game, maybe 2. And Dak Prescott is down with a hamstring injury. This could be a long-term issue there. In a minute, Mr. P. Tyler Bass, 61-yard winning field goal for the Dolphins in a 27-30 defeat.
And I'd just like to
for the
quickly
Bills,
interject. I was near a Dolphins fan, Hickories, who was very upset about that made field goal.
Talk about Dolphin fans. I will be on one show in a couple of weeks. The Chargers beat the Cleveland Browns 27-10. Jameis Winston throwing picks yet again. AFC East match, which was better than it was actually thought it was going to be, with the Commanders winning 27-22 over the Giants. Dan Jones throwing his first touchdown in MetLife for nearly 2 years. Whoops. Saquon Barkley now doing backwards leaps over people as the Eagles beat the Jags 28-23. That was ridiculously play. The Cardinals keep their lead in the NFC West with 29-9 win over the Bears. And yeah, as we said, the Colts beat the Vikings there. I'm still trying to work out how Saquon Barkley did that.
Yeah, how do you know the guy was behind him? That's my question.
Has a perception? Mr. Perry, you did have your hand up in the news.
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to go back on the Cowboys, not to put gasoline on the fire, but did anybody pick up on the story that was released about Zeke?
His being tardiness.
Yeah, so is it the weekend that he didn't travel with the Cowboys, and he wasn't training with them because of disciplinary issues where apparently, despite him being in the league for a long time now, his attitude problems were concerning, and McCarthy, has decided to fine him and drop him.
Yeah, I read that.
Yeah, I mean, I did think we were obviously losing Dak, losing other people, but also bad vibes in the camp where you've got veteran players who are your big name players, regardless if you think he's passed it or not. Zeke is a big name on that offense for the Cowboys. I think that Dallas are amazingly bad.
Or to quote Dak, we effing suck.
Yeah. And he's also part of that. He's literally part of that as well. And I don't dislike. If Dak didn't play for the Cowboys, I'd like him a lot more than I actually do. But he has not been great since getting paid the big bucks. Again, recurring theme.
Mr. Baby Hope, sorry.
Okay, two things. First off, I think Dak is a great guy. I think what he does for all the cancer charities is great.
100%.
And he always wins Sports Page Man of the Year. That's great.
Yes.
But, the point I actually wanted to make was, is Trey finally going to get his chance?
Nope.
No, it's Cooper Rush.
Yeah, it's Cooper Rush.
I was thinking Cooper Rush is more like Dak Prescott. So are they using him as a replacement? But with a week's prep, could they put Trey in?
No. I still think Cooper Rush starts.
I think if our former head coach and McCarthy wasn't in charge there, you would see Trey Lance in there, because this league does struggle in whole against quarterbacks who are mobile and who are able to move around, who can make yardage with their feet. Doesn't matter if they are Matt Stafford or they are Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. If they can get out of the pocket and make room, leagues struggle. Because a lot of them don't put spies on that middle linebacker as a spy. They just, we're going to go mad, we're going to coverage. But yeah, I think if those two dinosaur of head coaches, shall we say, because I do think they weren't in charge of that organization, yeah, you probably would see Trey Lance, and I think he would do okay there because he's got good weapons and he's got a great O-line.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Rap Sheet's tweet about it, and it's saying that Dak Prescott's hamstring was worse than expected. He's expected to miss multiple weeks.
Yeah.
He said he felt it go, and he's never felt anything like that in his life. And this dude broke his ankle.
Just quickly, I've got some breaking news.
Oh.
Yep.
The Week 11 Bengals Chargers game has been flexed to Sunday Night Football, moving the Indianapolis Colts at New York Jets game to a 1 p.m. Eastern time.
I mean, that's just to getting better organisers, because since they are getting better and Chargers are doing okay, going to what probably should primetime game now to moving it. This is what the NFL should do to start the season. Yes, these teams are primetime teams so far. Can move them around. Sorry, I was mean doing speech marks. Move them around, because not everyone wants to see a really bad Jets team against a really bad Indianapolis Colts team.
Yeah.
Also,
And if the NFL are very much status ratings, an entity, because like I said, as much as they care about winning the championships individually for the 32 different teams, the NFL cares more about making money. And Roger Goodell remains in that job because he's very good at making money. And with like TV deals and everything that comes in a buy, it makes perfect sense, because the Chargers are low key going under the radar in many, many respects, having a really good season. Like I watched their highlights like this morning as I was getting ready, and I'm kind of happy and upset at the same time that Jim Harbaugh is having some success again in the NFL, because he's really turning that team around, and Justin Herbert looks really good this year. And I think, do you not think the same? Like, they're low key having a really good season.
I'm happy, Jim. But there's no sadness for me. I'm happy Jim Harbaugh is having success.
The only thing that's shocking me about that team in the moment, because they haven't added a lot of players on the defensive side of the ball, yet their defense is pretty good. Talk about defenses. Last year, this is my shout for Coach of the Year, Dan Quinn, so far. Last year, Commanders were ranked bottom in defense yards per game allowed. They're now 10th.
Yeah.
That is a massive claim, and they are doing incredibly well under Dan Quinn. Right.
I mean, did you see the? Sorry, I know we're pressed on. Did any of you see the tweet that was put out there? I can't remember who did it now. It might have been Rappaport, that said about the culture shift in Washington, where players are, potentially seeking, trades to Washington, because now it's suddenly become the place to go in the NFL with that whole new culture. And again, culture change is such a great thing. We see it in Detroit. We're seeing it in Washington. And players want to go where, not just where they succeed, but where they actually feel valued. And, there's positive vibes. There's not doom and gloom around the organization. You can't tell me that when you look at them objectively, and I'm saying this as a neutral but yet biased fan to a degree, if you're a free agent or you're on the trading block, where would you much prefer to go? Washington or Vegas?
Oh, 100% Washington.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's not just saying like how, like, I would not want to go to Vegas even if I was paid an obscene amount of money. I'm sorry. I love Max Crosby. I love various other players that are on that organization, but I do not want to go there at all, because the upheaval that they've had from the Gruden saga to the Josh McDaniel saga to the Antonio Pierce stuff, I would not want to go there in a heartbeat. And I don't even know what influence Tom Brady's going to have. Is he going to have like a Ratcliffe kind of presence in that organization, where he's a minority owner, but he's calling all the shots? We don't really know. Whilst at least in Washington, they've got that winning formula and they're pushing forward in it. And I agree with you. I would put Dan Quinn in as Coach of the Year, because he is having, unless Dan Campbell wins the Super Bowl, I would definitely say Dan Quinn.
Yeah, I was just as you said that, I was racking my brains to think if there's anybody else I could put in a Coach of the Year. And honestly, I've not come up with anyone.
No.
You could probably obviously look at Harbaugh's, both of them there, possibly.
Andy Reid is still 7-0.
Yeah, but Andy Reid won't win Coach of the Year. He just won't.
No.
I think he'd much rather win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he should. Yeah. He should win Coach of the Year, and he should be nominated. But everybody knows he's a great coach, and I just feel like they don't nominate him.
Yeah.
So at the start of the season, Washington were predicted to win 6.5 games. 9 games in, they've won 7.
Yeah.
Says everything. Can Tampa Bay get to 7 games this season without Godwin and Evans?
I think they probably can, but just not tonight.
Yeah.
Evans will be back soon.
Yeah, but they're still with Evans and Godwin. They're both having a great season. Godwin is that spoil because if you've got 2 WR1s effectively, you can't double team them both, which is the problem. Which always, because if we double team Evans this one because that's the play it's going to be. Oh crap, there's Godwin over there. Oh, we're double team Godwin. Oh no, there's Evans over there. Oh, we're gonna play deep. Okay, we're gonna have the running going with the 2 running backs they've got there. I showed you I can't remember who the other one is off the top of my head. Yeah, they've got 2 fairly good running backs there, but without Evans and Godwin, it is deeply restricted.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're playing the Niners next week, so
yeah, two defeats back to back. KC aren't playing well, and this is the type of game where KC could lose.
Yeah.
Monday night, Baker Mayfield back against the wall, having the dog in him. I'm loving Baker Mayfield this season. He is playing out of his skin.
Yeah, but
I bet the Browns deeply regret their decisions now.
as Giselle once very famously said, my husband can't throw and catch the ball. Neither can Baker Mayfield.
No, I suppose he could run 300 yards in a game.
Yeah, if he became Colin Kaepernick, like prime Kaepernick, he probably could.
Yeah, my point being, he doesn't really have much to throw to without Evans and Godwin. And as
Which
good
is
as
shame because he was having such a good season.
Yeah, as good as Bucky Irving and Rashad White are, they're not McCaffrey, they're not Derek Carr, they're not Derek Henry, they're not Saquon Barkley. They're not going to rush. They're not going to rush for 200 yards.
No, 100%, 100%. If you look at the Buccaneers depth chart through injuries at the moment, they're okay. They're running their wide receivers at the moment is Ryan Miller, Trey Palmer, Raheem Jarrett.
Oh God.
Is Scotty Miller not
I know one of them.
Is Scotty Miller not still
there? He is not. No, he got traded to, I want to say Tennessee.
Scotty Miller.
They got K. Dotson had a good game last week.
He plays for Pittsburgh now.
That's it. They've got you've got Sean Tucker as well. There. So they've got they haven't really got anyone there, have they, to really, their wide receiver room is obliterated at the moment.
I don't think the KC will be exactly quaking in their boots about their offense at the moment.
No, their defense, KC's defense, I might as well have a night off.
Yeah.
Especially on the passing. You've got to keep an eye out for K. Dotson, and there might be a couple they're going to bring up from their practice squad, but yeah, they're in trouble. Them ones, most definitely.
The defense will really need to help them out. The Bucks defense, if they
100%. This is where the Bucks defense has 2 pick sixes on the way or fumble touchdowns.
They'll probably need that.
We are going to have a lot of fun choosing our plays of the week this week because there is so many. You've got jumps, you've got handstands, you've got one-handed grabs in the end zone. We didn't even mention Jordan Addison's touchdown in the end.
Yeah, that was a great catch.
There is so many to choose from this week. You will find out on Thursday night's show when we'll be back on your screens who our plays of the weeks are. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful evening. Stay safe all.